The Second Continental Congress, 1775, after the battles of Lexington and Concord, delegates felt it was important to meet and discuss what they should do. The Second Continental Congress began on May 10th, 1775, and included delegates, or representatives, from all 13 colonies. Some of the delegates were Benjamin Franklin, John Hancock, and Thomas Jefferson. The first order of business was to decide if they wanted to go to war with Britain. After a lot of discussion, the delegates decided it was time to prepare for war. If they were going to prepare for war, they would need an army. At this time, there were separate militias. These are made up of part-time soldiers. They often had other jobs that they worked at full-time and were ready for battle when needed. They were called Minutemen because they were ready at a minute's notice. These were not officially trained soldiers. There would need to be an army of full-time soldiers that would train for war. They decided to name it the Continental Army. Someone would need to be in charge of the army and the training. John Adams suggested that General George Washington would be the best man for the job. He knew that Washington had experience from the French and Indian War, and he would understand soldiers and how to fight in a war. Congress voted and chose Washington to be the commander-in-chief, or leader, of all military forces. Washington was not sure that he wanted this responsibility, but agreed to be in charge of the Continental Army. After creating the Continental Army, the Congress needed to decide how they were going to pay the Army and get them supplies. Congress asked each colony to send money and troops so that they could buy uniforms, guns, and supplies. They also created their own paper money called the Continental currency. Up until this point, they were still using British currency. They began printing bills called Continentals, which were to be used to pay the soldiers. Congress tried one more time to come to a peaceful agreement with Britain by sending the Olive Branch petition to King George III. They had not yet declared independence, and the petition explained their concerns and asked King George to fix them. They sent it directly to the king, hoping he didn't know about how poorly they'd been treated. King George did not accept this petition, believing the colonists were in rebellion. He felt that he could put an end to it with military force.